Journalist Geraldo Rivera, NewsNation's correspondent at large. Geraldo, always great to have you on the show.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hey, so last
Thank you
night,
very
Elon Musk hosted a 2-hour conversation with Donald Trump, which got off to a late start thanks to some technical glitches yet again. Somewhere, I think Ron DeSantis was laughing. The Harris campaign called last night's conversation, quote, a couple of self-obsessed rich guys talking about themselves. Was this a good idea, do you think?
Oh, I think it was a great idea, but the thing about these innovative ideas, Elizabeth, is that they have to work. You know, I've been reporting from around the world for over half a century, and the first rule and the most important thing isn't the backdrop or the scenery or even your guest. It's that you get the signal out and you speak to the studio or to the world, whoever your audience is. When the tech genius of the planet Earth has a 42-minute glitch.
I know,
it's
again.
Embarrassing. It sets a very stinky tone to the whole endeavor, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Well, listen, on that 2-hour conversation, Trump described several conversations he had with world leaders, including Vladimir Putin of Russia, who Trump said he warned not to invade Ukraine. Take a listen to that part.
I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it. And I told him things that what I do, and he said, no way. And I said, way.
Okay. First of all, do world leaders really talk like that?
Donald Trump does. I can tell you that much.
No way
and
and
I'm not
way?
sure that he moderates his. No way and way. I just remember when he and Putin were together, they seemed very collegial, very chummy. And I think that Trump, were Trump president, Ukraine might have had a different story. Going back, I just want to say that as glitchy as that conversation was, it was fun watching the world's richest man and the 45th president, these two big, larger-than-life figures kind of bouncing against each other. Even if the conversation was lame and not fact-checked, it was still, how often do you get to see a couple of billionaires just kind of messing around? I like them both in a sense. Not hangout buddies anymore with Trump, but
it is worth noting.
It is fascinating.
It is worth noting that Ambassador John Bolton, who was Trump's national security advisor and former ambassador to the United Nations, said nobody talks to each other like that, and he doesn't think that conversation ever happened. But moving on, I want to ask you about some polling by Democrats that shows Trump's attacks on Harris's race and intelligence are not working and could be backfiring, but his attacks on her policies on the border and on the economy could be quite potent. So why isn't Trump sticking with that?
Because he's undisciplined, because he loses focus. He's impatient. He's restless. He wants to hit back. If he feels a sting, one negative poll, and he wants to go and rout out the pollsters. He's very edgy. He's very thin-skinned. He's been that way his whole life, and even more so now that Kamala Harris is leading or tied in many of these polls. I think that he's very volatile. He's got to rein it in. He's got to get disciplined. He's got to get back to the issues. Even immigration. You talk about immigration. It's a very big issue with many Americans. But with his conversation with Elon Musk, he talks about 22 murderers coming from the Congo. I didn't hear about any murderers coming from the Congo, and much less 22 of them. How did that happen? Where does he get stuck on these anecdotes that make so little sense? He has an issue. Talk about the issue. Talk about his fix for the issue, his remedy.
Yeah.
It's more than simplistic walls. I think that he's got to remember what got him here. Yes, it's flamboyance. Yes, it's he's a movie star and a great ad-libber. But you've got to be disciplined. You can't talk about Kamala Harris's race when you want to talk about the issues. You go in front of a bunch of black journalists and she's not really black. Come on. I mean, it doesn't take a political genius to understand that doesn't make any sense.
Well, if Democrats own polling is showing she's vulnerable on these issues, it's a real question why he isn't like a heat-seeking missile attacking on those issues. But he's
Agreed.
not.